Welcome to the Transparent FX Academy. I'm Nick, and I'm a top author on TradingView with over 190k reputation points. In this video, I'll speak about GBPUSD. And as usual, to keep the video as educational as possible, first I'll cover the technical aspect for this market, then we will be moving to the commitment of traders, so the COT data, which is what the big players and institutions are doing and how they're moving and shifting their orders, which is what you see right here. And by the end of the video, by putting together these two different types of analysis, we will try to understand where we have the highest probabilities for the next potential move here for this pair. So this is definitely a video you do not want to miss. So without further ado, let's jump straight onto the chart. Starting here from the monthly time frame, what we can see is that we have a market which at the moment is testing a very strong historical monthly demand and support area. In fact, from here, all these previous rejections to the upside were created. Every single time the market tested its zone, it respected it as support and rejected to the upside. Now what we can see is that at the moment, the market is testing the exact same zone and has already started rejecting it to the upside. So more bullish price action could be expected away from this level, as already happened in the past when the market was testing this exact same zone. There is only one exception in which the market managed to break below the zone, but immediately that resulted in a fake breakout to the downside because the market broke to the downside and immediately broke back above. So this area is still acting as a very strong demand and support zone, and at the moment the market is in the process of rejecting it to the upside. So let's keep all of this in mind and drop down on the weekly time frame. And we will be speaking about how all this push to the upside is actually fueled by institutional longing in just a few moments when we move to the commitment of traders analysis. But for now, let's keep that in mind and, as I just said, drop down on the weekly time frame. Now, here on the weekly, what we can notice is a perfect inversion of trend. We can notice how the market went from creating weekly lower lows and lower highs, so being in a weekly downtrend, to now being in a weekly uptrend with the creation of weekly higher highs and higher lows. So this was a perfect inversion of trend from lower lows and lower highs to now higher highs and higher lows. We can also notice that the last move to the upside actually broke a quite strong historical structure level. This area, in fact, if we look at it closely, was acting as the previous level of supply and resistance from which all the drop to the downside actually originated from. And that level again was respected here as resistance, but the market has now broken it to the upside. So this previous resistance is now turned support. The market has already tested it, is currently starting to reject it to the upside, so more bullish price action away from this level could be expected. Dropping down on the daily time frame, what do we see? Now, here on the daily, I spoke about GBPUSD quite a few times in the past, just in the past few days, and I spoke about it, in fact, when the market was around here, and I explained all the reasons for which I was expecting this big move to the upside. And that is exactly what the market did. Then again, after the impulse, I explained all the reasons for which I was expecting a correction to this area, for the market to find support at this zone and start the continuation to the upside, which again is exactly what the market is currently giving us. And by the way, I will link in description both these previous analysis, so you can go and check them out for more free education. But at the moment, what do we have? Well, before we go into more details here from a technical perspective on the daily, which will be quite interesting, first, let's go and see what we have when it comes to the commitment of traders, so what the big players in the market are doing. Now, first of all, if we're looking at the data for the GBP, we are actually already looking at GBPUSD because all currencies on the spot are traded against the USD. And what we can see is that with the last reports, net positions have been massively increased. We went from 6.5k up to 35.3k net positions. So we had a huge increase of net positioning with an extra 14,000 longs added just with the last report. So at the moment, institutions are sitting with 102,000 longs compared to only 67,000 shorts. So clearly they are aggressively positioned to the bullish side for GBPUSD. So we have seen this steady increase in net positioning from this 6.5K all the way up to this 35K, with institutions increasing their longs from 85.7K to 102K and decreasing their shorts from 79K to 67K. So clearly they're moving back to the bullish side. So let's keep that in mind and move back to the chart. And by the way, if you still haven't, make sure that you join my free Telegram channel, which you find linked in the description, so you never miss new updates. Now back to the analysis. So here in the daily, what do we have? Now, first of all, what we can notice is some important structure. The important structure level that we have to identify is this one here. This was acting as previous daily resistance from which these two rejections to the downside were created. The market then broke above the zone, so that previous resistance was turned support here. The market is currently testing this previous resistance turned support and has already started rejecting it to the upside. Now, this was also confluence of support, because after an impulse, if you want to measure the correction, you have to take your Fibonacci from the low to the high of the impulse leg. And this shows us how we have the 50% retracement lining up exactly inside of the previous horizontal resistance turned support, which creates confluence of support. And instead of a confluence of support level, so a level in which you have multiple layers of support in the same area of price, you have an increased probability of seeing institutional longing. And that is exactly what has brought the net positions even higher. Now, what we can notice is that at the moment we have new structure being created. This is a minor level of previous daily resistance, which now that the market has broken into the upside is turned support here. There is the possibility, if institutions will add more longs here, to see the continuation to the upside of the uptrend. So in a situation like this, if institutions will continue to add longs, what would I expect? Well, as my students know very well, trading is reactive and not predictive. The monthly, weekly, and daily timeframes combined with the COT data, those are the best timeframes when it comes to the directional aspect of the market. However, when it comes to identifying early shifts in the trend of a market, the best timeframes for that are the intraday timeframes, so 4 hour and lower. Therefore, what I would expect is that if this market would shift from an intraday bearish to bullish market, I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential rejection to the upside away from this level. That definitely wouldn't surprise me. Now, if you want to learn more, I really recommend that you go and check out my website, which is linked in the description, because what you see me share here on YouTube is actually just the tip of the iceberg. In fact, if you head over to the website in the description, you will have the possibility to join the best trading program on the planet. You will gain access to all the courses ranging from the very basics of charting all the way to the more advanced topics like building automated trading strategies using the MQL4 programming language, building portfolios of strategies using quantitative finance tools like the Quant Analyzer, and much more. You will have the possibility, in fact, to gain access to the trading station software with the Telegram notifications integration, one-on-one private mentoring directly with me, the COT data software, which often you see me use directly in my YouTube videos, on all my platforms actually. And if you scroll down, you will see that you also have the possibility to get the integration. So all my EAs, which you find here presented one by one directly on the website. And you also have the possibility to gain access to my live trading show. So I live stream of all the trades on my live account as they're opened, closed, trade, and obviously managed. And if you continue to scroll down, you will see that you have the possibility to join just after here the testimonials and gain automatically access with the email and password that you will create during the checkout process. So I really suggest that at least you go and check it out. The link is in the description and I will see you in it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you click on the like button to support the channel. Also, any questions you might have, let me know in the comments below. Also, new pairs that you would like me to cover in my next videos. Make sure to also subscribe to the channel so you never miss new updates, and I will see you in my next video.